What is your perception of how radio sells its own digital products?
So I think they haven't really found a way to offer it as a greater whole. I think what I've seen, and I guess that frustration that I talked about a little bit, is it's siloed, right? So they'll come in, they'll offer you the radio piece, which is great, and they've got it down. Then I think they come in and they offer the social as kind of an add-on that they'll charge you for, and then an impression load on a website that they have locally. And so our biggest challenge as an agency is to challenge the station, go, no, bring it all in one, should be included in your wheelhouse of offerings, and it should be an expectation as you as an agency, right, or as a radio group to the agency, that it's part of the plan, it's part of the way we're going to go. And if that's either creating an efficiency on the digital side, right, and a premium on the radio, I think agencies will look at it. But I think it hasn't been done well. And so I think that's one of the bigger things for us.
Are you getting any idea why they're doing it that way still?
You know what, I think it's just, historically they focused on that 1A, that station, right? So they focus on their station, they focus on the local market, on the personalities, on the content, and on their programming. And they've gone away from focusing on what they have as an offering. It's what I talked about, Pandora is great, but I truly feel that a lot of local radio stations already had a Pandora type of digital capability that they somewhat ignored, right, in order to grow their local radio component. But they've had it, and they should go with it. And so I think it's like everything, right? So it's hard for us to take on new things, learn them and push them, but it's an expectation now, right? As agencies, we have to do the same thing, and we want you guys as partners to come in and do that with us.
So you're buying Pandora. Where's the budget come from to buy Pandora, and what kind of results are you getting?
So we're pulling it from our radio budget. So what we determined at the beginning of the year within our strategy is, okay, so we think this is what should go to TV, this is what should go to radio. Within that radio component is Pandora, right? Because we look at it as another audio component in every market. And we've treated it like that, and the results that we're getting are phenomenal, right? I mean, the click-through rates, if you measure them against any other digital campaign that we would do, are above par. And when we've even done some small survey groups, I mean, people talk about us being seen on Pandora. So they're wins, and I think we're going to continue to see that. But it's not to say that local radio hasn't also had its huge wins. So I think it's a very big component, and hopefully what we can do is grow more radio budgets, right? So everyone gets a bigger piece of the pie.
Do you think part of the problem is radio is not taking advantage of the technology where they can target to the listener like Pandora is?
Oh, definitely. So, there's groups out there that have great digital radio or streaming platforms. And when we've asked them or told them, look, you don't understand what you have in your hands right now. Have you guys talked about behavioral targeting or cross-referencing with other research arms? It's not in the wheelhouse. It's not in their thinking yet, And so it goes back to the same thing. I think they have to understand what their priority is. If your priority is going to be local radio, then go for it. If it's really going to push every arm that you have within your storehouse, that's great, but do it right. And so I think that's the biggest thing. If you can find those arms and bring them together and create one holistic package, then I think they're going to have huge success stories, right, from a sales standpoint.
Talk about your agency. How big is your agency? Some of the clients that you have, how long you've been doing it?
So agency is 5 years old, started in 2008. One of the ideas behind the agency was, I sat with my wife and I told her, I complain a lot on the client side about the agencies that we have. They mean well, they try, but I can complain about it or I can try to fix it. And so we started more as a consultancy, never thought it would become an agency. 5 years later, we've got 12 people full-time out of Dallas. We have an office in Colombia that does some digital work for us. And yeah, we're billing about $56 million a year now, which is kind of weird to even say out loud. So I don't even feel comfortable saying that's weird. And we manage Metro PCS, Hispanic, Maseca, Guerrero, obviously very, very big brands, Wrangler, Jeans, Western, specific, and big regional brands like Tricolor Alto, Texas, Oklahoma, come into California. Jefferson Dental, and so we've done a good job of finding that niche, and we've had so much success it hasn't limited us to the multicultural space. We're doing a lot of general market work too, so we're excited.
And how much would you say of your $56 million goes to radio?
That's a good question. I don't know what that percentage would be. I would tell you it'd be a large percentage, and I think one of the reasons that I was joking with Carl that we were invited is because he knows we love radio. So I would tell you it's a big part of what we do. It's an integral part of our strategy, and Pizza Patron's a good example. It's a food product. It's visual, right? And so most people would go to TV right off the bat, and we went against the grain and we went with radio because we needed that local community discussion, and we needed that local voice in the market to help us push our product and represent us the way we want to be represented, right, as part of the community. So I would tell you there's a large percentage in there. I would definitely feel that way. Percent exact, I don't know.
Why are you a big believer in radio? What are the positives that you can talk about from the other side of the desk?
Yeah, so look, I think one of the big things is the local feel for the community. I think you guys, and when I mean you guys is radio as a whole, has that, right? They have the stake in the ground. These aren't stations that were brought out a year ago. It's groups that have existed for years and years and years with pioneers like the Caballeros, right? Jeff and Lieberman and those groups that have really wanted to connect to the community, and they knew that's where they were going to win. They've done a great job. And on top of that, then they've brought in personalities that mirror the community. And so what happens is the community looks at these people as aspirational, right, as community leaders. And so being able to be a part of that is big to us. And so I think from community, from relationship standpoint, from building a brand, amazing. And I think from a results standpoint, we've always had success. I think we've never done a radio campaign where we felt like we were just left out to dry, or we felt like we hadn't achieved a goal. And I think that's great too. And flexibility and nimble, right? I think radio represents that as well, and we love that.